I'm a bad motherfucker.
So Candace Owen, you know, has been fired by the Daily Wire, where she made a name for herself, and she got fired over because she dared to say that maybe we shouldn't commit a genocide, and that that's wrong in Gaza, and that she actually had sympathy for the dead babies in Gaza. That was a bridge too far for Ben Shapiro and those genociding hypocritical maniacs. And now her friends. So this guy here, this is going to shock you.
Oh, right.
But this guy has a show at the Daily Wire. I don't even, his name escapes me. Do you know what this guy's name is?
Michael Knowles.
That's Michael Knowles. That's who that is. And he's a Christian. And so he is the godfather to her baby, to Candace Owens' baby. Did you know that? So watch this.
Yeah, he says that in this video, yeah.
Yeah, he says that. So let's watch this video and hold on to your... Here we go.
Access to sound great. Yeah, this news just broke about, I don't know, an hour or two before the show started this morning. So Candace has parted ways with the Daily Wire. I forget how exactly they phrased it. I think Jeremy announced it on his Twitter and said the Daily Wire and Candace have ended their relationship. So I don't have some grand statement to make about that. I don't think it's my place as a host on this network to make some grand statement about it. Because this is a very personal business and a personal company, a particularly personal company, you know the relationships already. You know that I am a close personal friend of Candace and the godfather to her daughter. Her husband, George, is one of my best friends. And you know that I've been at the Daily Wire for a very long time.
So I'm not going to risk my job here, even though I'm godfather to her daughter and her husband's my best friend. Yep. I am not risking this, baby, because this is where my gravy train. And even though I'm a Christian and this is over Israel, here we go.
The very early days, you know, Jeremy Boring is one of my best friends. Even Ben, I'm willing to admit in a moment of candor, is a longtime friend of mine, as are Caleb and all the other people around here. So, you know.
What does he mean by that, even Ben? Is he just trying to be...
It's just like playful.
He's trying to be careful. You know, he's trying to be cheeky.
Yeah, he's trying to be cheeky. I guess he's trying to be playful. This is so... I mean, look, if we ever become this cringe, I hope the audience lets us know so we can, you know, move on to something else. I mean, what?
Let's play.
What?
This is unbelievable. There's a little bit more to this. Let me play it, and then I'll bring you in.
So tortured. Yeah.
Always unfortunate when people go their separate ways, and that's life, I suppose. But that's really all I have to say about it. You know? I don't. If you were hoping for some grand, epic speech on the future of
you're
media
not the guy.
And the industry, I don't really have that. And if you were looking for juicy gossip and tea spilling, not only would I be unwilling to divulge any of that, but I don't really have any to give you. That's basically my view on it. And someone mentioned, Candace.
Nobody. So basically, there's a competition to see who can take the longest to basically say, yeah, we're friends at work, but I'm not going to rock the boat I live on. And Michael Knowles is in the lead so far.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that's stunning. The godfather to her kid, best friend to her husband. Hey, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah. Yep. No loyalty in that business, especially, I mean, this guy seems to lack the talent to make it on his own. See, someone like Candace Owens will be okay.
Yes.
She'll be fine, right? This guy needs that Daily Wire money. I can't imagine he has the chops to just go totally independent, which is part of why he probably feels like he can't step too far out of line. But yeah, it's just kind of hilarious to see what's going on over there. I mean, it is the plot of a sitcom, right? You have this right-wing podcast network that caters largely to like Christian fundamentalist types, but they're founded and run by Jews. And so when a Christian steps out of line on Israel, they have to fire her. And then they have to walk this line. That other guy, Andrew Clavin, we did a segment on him. He did this thing. This is where the whole Christ is King thing all right, because he was Jewish and then he was baptized, so he's a Christian. So he's like, oh, the Christians welcomed me into their club, except the Christ is King Christians. You know, that's a little too much. You're laying on a little thick there with the Christ is King. So now they have to thread this needle because it's a right-wing network that caters largely to a Christian right audience. But they're run by Jews, and they just booted the Christian out for having empathy with people who are being genocided.
By the way, that is Michael Knowles. He's a cigar salesman. If you want to find a salesman to sell something that sells itself, he's your man. That's him. That's him also being cheeky. Cigar salesman. He has 1 billion followers. Are you kidding me? Wow,
yeah, that's a lot.
He has twice as many followers. So I like Satasha Cattergator says, nah, it's just that Michael isn't a drama. So here's the different. Some people supported him, if you can believe it. It's just that Michael isn't a drama queen, hell-bent on destroying good and real relationships, keeping in mind Dante's vision of the worst circle of hell being reserved for those who betray their friends. So he did the truly courageous thing and defended all his friends, knowing people like you might bring the E-mob over to attack him over it with the worst possible interpretation of Michael's words.
He's friends with people who support genocide. He's friends with people who don't support genocide. And it'd be unfair to one to come down too hard.
Chernovich also, he said he handled it exactly as he should. Not everyone wants to be a gossip in a gossip and drama cycle. Shit doesn't always work out. Not the end of the world. Candace will be more than okay. That is true. Candace will be more than okay.
She will, but this is not really drama. Like, you can't really call this drama.
Yeah, this is
drama would be a contract dispute or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is a pretty core disagreement over one of the worst obscenities of our time. You can't really say that's drama. That is ideological. That does reflect your values as a person.
And all the people over at the Daily Wire screamed about facts don't care about your feelings.
Right.
And they're about, like, you're not supposed to cancel people because they disagree with you. You have to grow up and you have to hear things that you don't like and all. And they're like, no. You can't have sympathy for babies that are being bombed by Israel because that's it. Yeah. And then you're out. So all the things they claim, I'm gonna show you in our next segment. Barry Weiss is the perfect example of this. But here, this guy says, Michael Knowles is a disgrace to Catholics. Maybe he can repent for his cowardice. Christ is king. We are subservient to him, not Jews. That's what this guy says. And so he has a quote from Fulton J. Sheen. I don't know who that is, but the quote is, the refusal to take sides on great moral issues is itself a decision. It is a silent acquiescence to evil. The tragedy of our time is that those who still believe in honesty lack fire and conviction, while those who believe in dishonesty are full of passionate conviction. That's a pretty good quote. What do you think about that quote, Keaton?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was just a matter of time before something like this happened. Did they really think? I mean, I mean, this has been kind of a thing that's been going on, not just in the right, but everywhere. You see in mainstream media, Mark Lamont Hill was run out of a job at CNN for saying Free Palestine a while ago. Like, do you really think black people are going to side with Israel over the Palestinians? Do you really expect black people, even black right-wingers, like at the end of the day, people are people. You really think black people are going to side with the Israelis? You really think the Israelis are who they're going to side with in a situation like this? Like, it just, of course, this was going to happen. And rather than just like be accepting of that and cast a big tent and you know, actually practice what you preach in terms of like your opposition to cancel culture, no. Instead, they forced her out.
Here's one more tweet I wanted to share. The Indian Jesus says, it's not tea spilling. It's effing political news that you have a personal information about on your political news show. What the F is going on? So many of the people I thought had principles seem to be just like the leftists who are at least open about their lack thereof. Who needs friends like this? I would agree. And finally, Jesus has come around. Of course, we're talking about the Indian Jesus. And we all know that Jesus was white, so I think this guy is using a fake name. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but he is nailing the truth, so I don't know anymore. Any last words on this? That this has been quite a saga. And you know what? Let's get to the Barry Weiss part, and because we have more to say about it there. Over to Steph.
All right. Grasshopper says, hey, Michael Knowles, blink twice if you're being threatened by a Zionist asshole. Grasshopper 21. Thank you, Grasshopper. Jesus came to Galilee, proclaiming the gospel of God and saying, the time is fulfilled and the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent and believe in gospel. Mark 1:14 through 15. I'd rather be ironing 2021. Mark Dansky, Danny is compassion and courage personified. People like him amaze me. Mark Dansky. Please have Low Key on to speak. He is better informed than the best journalist out there. Mod Gone. Great. Back to Jimmy.
So, Barry Weiss. Now, if you remember her from this show, my most popular video, it got like over 5 million views, was when she went on and slandered Tulsi Gabbard because Tulsi Gabbard was telling the truth about the Syrian war. And anybody who told the truth about the Syrian war got slandered. Now, see, they go to my Wikipedia page. Look what they still have up there. They still push a conspiracy theory that Assad gassed his own people, which is what that was. And I debunked it, and they called me a conspiracy theorist. Who do they quote at Wikipedia? They quote CNN, calling Jimmy Dore a conspiracy theorist because I got Syria right. And we all know that Wikipedia is run by the intelligence community, MI6 and the CIA and the FBI. Certainly when it comes to personal profiles, the Gray Zone has proven this. This is not me making it up. So Barry Weiss slandered Tulsi Gabbard, called her a Assad toady. That's what they do. Just like they're calling people Putin puppets. Oh, you're Assad. So whatever country the United States wants to go to war with, if you tell the truth about it, they say you're a puppet of the person running that country. You're Saddam, you're a Gaddafi, whatever, no matter what it is. So here she is. She says, and this piece doesn't even touch on her truly batch. So this is a piece called The Hateful Candace Owens. So she's glad. So Barry Weiss is a Zionist. And she's totally down with what Israel's doing, the genocide. And she totally just, again, I know there are a lot of people who thought she was a free speech person and all that. She's not. She's for free speech when it suits her. She's a part-time free speecher. So she says, this piece doesn't even touch on her truly batshit views about Brigitte Macron. That it took the Daily Wire this long to sever ties with Candace Owens is alarming. So, first of all, Candace Owens' claims about Brigitte Macron was based on a 3-year in-depth investigation by a team of French journalists. However crazy it is, she didn't come up with it out of thin air. So, here's another. So you don't think it's weird that a 40-something-year-old teacher groomed and then married her student starting at age 15? Because Macron, the president of France, is 40. His wife is 70. And she was his teacher when he was 15. Flip that. Flip that to being a girl student and a male, 40-year-old male. Just flip that.
It is very French, though.
Yeah. Switch the genders and see how that goes. Nothing to report on that one. And anyone who does report on it should be deplatformed. So, by the way, Barry Weiss she's like if there's this league of superheroes that wait in some coffee room for instructions to attack someone or something that they know nothing about. That's what this is.
Yeah, she didn't know anything about Tulsi, right? That was the big clip
that
went viral.
She didn't know
Tulsi's vile, right? That was the word I think she used.
She's disgusting. What was the word? She called her an Assad toady, and then Rogan said,
"What vile?" I think that was the word that sticks out in my head for some reason. Then Rogan asked, "What about her's vile?" And she had nothing.
He asked, "What is a toady?" He said, "She's a Assad toady," and he said, "What is a toady? What does that word mean?"
And she couldn't say.
And she didn't know what it was. Yeah. She goes, "Can you look it up? I don't know what it means." But she called her that.
Yeah.
So any criticism of pedo politics is batshit. That's what Barry's saying. So here's one more. So, by the way, underneath her tweet, I couldn't find any positive tweets under Barry's tweet about calling Candace batshit. Here's our Nick, friend of the show, says, people really thought a Zionist believed in freedom of speech? And Jake Shields, friend of the show, says, we all know you want her fired because she's realizing Israel is a terrorist state, which they are, just like the United States is. Here's one more. Candace disagrees with murdering Palestinian babies and starving them to death. You're fully in favor of that. So who is really hateful here? Glenn Greenwald caught this. So Barry Weiss wrote years ago, she wrote an essay called "We Got Here Because of Cowardice. We Get Out with Courage." So Glenn says this essay in commentary by Barry Weiss, from which that excerpt is taken, say no to the woke revolution, is below. It warns of the evils of firing people by accusing them of bigotry and of the moral urgency of debating, not deplatforming opponents. So Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro and all those people, they all used to say that's what they used to say. You don't deplatform people because you don't agree with them. You need to debate them, and you don't call them bigots. The left just calls everybody a bigot or a racist. Well, now they're doing that exactly to Candace Owen and anybody who doesn't go along with the genocide that Israel's pulling off in Gaza. So just think about this. We have people like AOC has finally called it a genocide, and Alex Jones is also calling it a genocide. So I'm pretty sure there's a genocide happening.
Yeah.
So
when they're on the same page, that's pretty much the mainstream opinion at that point.
Yeah. So here's what Glenn caught. He says, let me offer this is what Barry White had written back in November of 2021. Let me offer the briefest overview of the core beliefs of the woke revolution, which are abundantly clear to anyone willing to look past the hashtags and the jargon. It begins by stipulating that the forces of justice and progress are in a war against backwardness and tyranny. And in a war, the normal rules of the game must be suspended. Indeed, this ideology would argue that those rules are not just obstacles to justice, but tools of oppression. They are the master's tools, and the master's tools cannot dismantle the master's house. So the tools themselves are not just replaced, but repudiated. And in so doing, persuasion, the purpose of argument, is replaced with public shaming. Moral complexity is replaced with moral certainty. Facts are replaced with feelings. That's exactly what Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, Dave Rubin, and Barry Weiss are doing to Candace Owen. It goes on. Ideas are replaced with identity. That's exactly what this is. I once had a conversation with Dave Rubin about that when they were doing one of their mowing the lawns, as Israel calls it, and they were bombing schools. And UN sanctuaries, and they were trying to beg Israel, don't bomb this. There's children in here, and they did it anyway. And Dave Rubin was for that. And I remember, I go, Dave, you can't really be for that. He goes, well, it's tribal, Jimmy. And of course, I'm going to go along with my tribe. That's a quote from him.
Wow.
So this is ideas are replaced with identity. Forgiveness is replaced. So that's what they're doing. They're replacing ideas with their identity as Zionists, and they conflate it with being Jewish. Now, there's lots of Jews that are not Zionists, but they want you to think that Zionism equals Jewish, and it doesn't. So you can be anti-Zionist, and that doesn't make you an anti-Semitic. That's a semantic trick that they're trying to. I'm anti-semantic. Ideas are replaced with identity. This is exactly what they're doing. So again, these people don't really have values. Like I've showed you that Ben Shapiro doesn't have those values. Ideas are replaced with identity. Forgiveness is replaced with punishment. Debate is replaced with deplatforming. Diversity is replaced with homogeneity of thought. That's exactly what they're doing at the Daily Wire. That's exactly what Barry Weiss is doing. That's exactly what Ben Shapiro's doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
And they cry foul when the argument is turned on them, because what's really been exposed about these people over these past several months is that these Zionists really are racists. They are absolute racists. If you believe that the state of Israel is a legitimate project, you must believe that a bunch of brown Arabs in the Middle East should have been made to pay for the crimes of the Nazis. That in itself is profoundly racist right there. And now that we're having a debate about this, and that people who are pushing back on their patently racist premise that undergirds the existence of Israel as a state, they want to shut that debate down because they consider it illegitimate and out of bounds. Why? Because it's being argued on behalf of a people who they quite obviously see as less than human. So these are die-in-the-wool fucking bigots, and they are full of garbage and all this bullshit about free speech and open debate and discourse and dialogue, and the Barry Weisses and the Douglas Murrays and the Dave Rubins and the Ben Shapiros. They are just full of shit. And as the consensus broadens to include people like Alex Jones on one hand and AOC on the other, that this is an unfolding genocide, these people are going to end up outcasts, as they should.
We'll see. Candace hasn't been deplatformed or silenced, nor was there even an attempt to do so. That's what this person says to Glenn Greenwald. And Glenn Greenwald comes back and says she's been deplatformed by the Daily Wire and is no longer at her job due to her views that have been morally and publicly shamed as racist. Exactly what Barry's essay warns about. So now they became the thing they claim to hate. Of course they are. Just like the people who were prosecuting Trump politically for political prosecution, they said Trump was going to do that. And now they got to do it to him before he gets reelected, so he can't do it to them. So they're going to do it first. That's what's happening right now. That's what this is. This is, I can't, so apparently it's not lying when a certain group does it, when Zionists do it. It's not racism when a certain group does it. It's not theft when a certain group does it. It's not child abuse when a certain group does it. It's not genocide when a certain group does it. But most important, it's not hypocrisy when it's pointed out that this certain group does all those things.
Exactly.
I am anti-semantic when it comes to bullshit. I'll tell you that. I don't hate religion. I hate lies, and every religion uses them for cover. Some more than others rise and fall from using it, but all of them fall from using bullshit. We eventually see through it. That's stunning that she wrote that. You can't get bigger phonies. That's what these people are. Phonies. And cretins who are for genocide. I don't get it. And it's, you know, Netanyahu says he doesn't care if the whole world turns against Israel. The whole world has turned against Israel. The whole world.
Yep.
I mean, over a month ago, a Jewish think tank did a study of all the protests around the world over Israel, Gaza, and they found out 95% of the protests were pro-Palestinian. That's a Jewish think tank. The whole world has turned on them. And now you have Joe Biden and the Democrats. So now AOC, they're all coming out now. Oh, they're really, because they know they're going to lose the election.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose the election because of this. And there's no silver lining because Donald Trump has already said he's going to go along with Benjamin Netanyahu. So Benjamin Netanyahu is never going to stop doing what he's doing because he knows he doesn't care. So now Joe Biden has no leverage.
Exactly, because he's a loser. It doesn't matter what he says.
That's right.
Netanyahu knows he only has to wait, 10 months until he'll have his way again. Even if Biden does take a stand, which is unlikely.
Right.
Even if that does happen, Netanyahu knows that Joe Biden's days in the White House are numbered because they took too long to mobilize at all around this, and they really haven't mobilized. They voted they voted present at the latest UN resolution, which calls for a ceasefire. They insisted, meaning the U.S. insisted, that that be a temporary ceasefire, not a permanent ceasefire. So they're still not really doing anything. They're making these rhetorical gestures because they know the bottom is falling out of their party. But as you said, it's too late. Netanyahu knows he holds all the cards now because all he has to do, worst case, is wait for Donald Trump to win.
Wow. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But, Donald Trump is a wild card. So you don't know. Yeah. You don't know if he gets elected and tells Netanyahu, hey, asshole, looks bad. He's already said it, by the way. He's already said this.
And that is the caveat to this. You're right, is that if world opinion turns against them as dramatically as it looks like it is, there is that chance that he just goes along with that, because what Trump wants more than anything is to be liked, right? And so if this is a loser position, he might not back Israel. I mean, it's hard to imagine, right? Like, it's hard to even imagine that could happen, but it could. It's not something to bet on, but you're right. He is a wild card. There is that randomness factor when it comes to Trump. But at the moment, yeah, Netanyahu holds all the cards over Joe Biden because Joe Biden is, for all intents and purposes, a lame duck. And you can't negotiate with Netanyahu when you're a lame duck. You have no political power.
None.
Joe Biden has no political power now.
None. Okay, let's go to a break, and I'll be right back. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate shitty coffee? I, for one, really hate shitty coffee, which is why I'm excited to introduce to you a company that's revolting against shitty coffee, and it's called the 1775 Coffee Company. Now, I haven't had it yet because I only drink decaf. Steph has had it. Steph, how do you like it?
I really like it. You know what? I have a French press, and so I've been using my French press and totally enjoying it. It's delicious. It's smooth.
So 1775, the world awakened to a new era. And now it's 1775 Coffee Company is bringing you a coffee that embodies that revolutionary spirit. Crafted with passion and precision, our beans are ethically and exclusively sourced from the finest coffee beans farms of Bolivia. Didn't know that. 1775 Coffee Company's farm-to-cup journey ensures the highest quality of authenticity and sustainability from start to finish. With each sip, your palate will recognize and appreciate the dedication and passion that goes into crafting this single-sourced brew. 1775 Coffee Company takes pride in offering customers a truly exceptional coffee experience with their premium coffee collection. But their dedication to this revolution extends beyond the realm of taste. Safeguarding freedom of speech is critical right now, which is why 1775 Coffee Company has joined forces with Rumble in defense of one of our most fundamental rights, freedom of speech. Coffee that's sure to awaken all your senses, including the sense of freedom. So choose 1775 Coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/litter. That's LITTER, and use the code LITTER for 10% off the checkout on your first order. 1775 Coffee, brewed to perfection, crafted with revolution.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy.